So what is, in your opinion, what is the few key characteristics of a 2 a.m. relationship? Meaning that you can call that person at 2 a.m. any time of the day. You can call them because
it should be sweaty. Should also always start with a good bit of sweatiness.
good bit of sweatiness.
A 2 a.m. relationship.
Or I think they call it 4 a.m. relationships. Anybody that you would call at 4 a.m. for whatever reason, because of whatever, flat tire, going through an argument with your spouse. What are the key characteristics? So you've got the three. I've got the three, maybe the two. You and Jason, maybe. What are those? What are those key characteristics? What makes that work for you?
Well, I can tell you one is the same one because it was in California with Kelly. And a girl, let's see, it was Brian's wife. It was actually who I was talking to. And we were having a conversation, and she was, oh, and you've known Kelly for this many years, and you guys been. She kind of asked me the Barbara Walters version of that. What do you attribute the longevity of your relationship? If you were a tree, what tree would you be? And I was like, I said, the first thing that I will say is the first thing that always comes to mind is we have a no BS clause.
Okay.
It's not written. It's just understood. You don't lie to me, and I don't lie to you. And the reason that can be that way is because of the unconditional love that we share for each other. You know there's nothing you can say to me that's going to make me stop loving you, and I know there's nothing I can say to you that's going to make you stop loving me. So it promotes honesty. And I think, to me, man, there is little in humanity that I value as greatly as someone who can be honest.
Right.
I know I probably hurt Gary's feelings the other day when I said to him what I said to him. But I
the
said
pastor? You're talking about
yeah,
Gary
yeah,
the pastor?
yeah.
Okay.
I said it to him the way I would say it to you.
Right.
I'm
Honestly.
not trying to hurt you. I'm telling you this so that you will know.
Right.
And whatever you do with that information is up to you. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just giving you the honest facts. I rely on people being honest with me, and this is probably told me more than anything how many people do not like me or think I've had something against them or what did I do did I offend you? Because I am that way with people.
Mm-hmm.
I am honest and direct. It's taken me years to realize people are not used to that.
Right.
And so when I'm that way with people, sometimes it's an affront to them. But it's like, to me, I'm honoring you by doing that.
I would agree.
If I wanted to do something crappy to you, then I would lie to you and manipulate you and tell you things that aren't true, because that would make it easier for me and you and everything. We could all just be friends that way.
Right.
But I don't have any real friendships that do that. You, Kelly, and Andy are three people I look at and go, you know, I could lie to you about the really warty, scabby parts of my personality and the crappy things that I've done.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, because it would be dishonest to us both. So I'm going to make that my long answer, and honesty is going to be
honesty.
That's the short answer. That's one. That's number one to me.
Okay. I wrote that down. It's no BS clause, unconditional love, honesty. So I would agree. I think that's what it takes, is being, this is who I am. I don't care if you like it or not, or maybe you do, but this is who I am. And this is what I have to say. This is what I have to think about what you're saying. And yeah, here's my honest answer. Yeah, I'm not giving any BS. And you're right. Some people can't handle that.
Most.
Okay, granted, you're right. Most people.
It's not even a judgment. It's just a fact.
It is a fact.
I don't like to hear the hard truth about myself, but I know I cannot improve if I do not know the hard truth about myself.
Because we want participation trophies. And that's we can't. We'll go back to, what's his name? Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. Yes. And that's why he's hiding it from you. That's why we hide it from people, is because we really, either number one, we're afraid of what they'll think of us, or number two, we're afraid of what they how they'll respond to it naturally, which makes us afraid, and that's wrong altogether.
One of the strangest conversations I remember being party to in a theological framework was a discussion about the harlot woman that did the red thread in the window.
Mhm.
And when the guys came and she hit him, and the guys came looking for him, she said, "Oh, they're not here," and she lied. And it's like, so does that mean it's okay to lie sometimes?
Hmm.
And I was surprised at the number of people that think yes, it is. And I'm like, no. Well, it was all right for her to lie. I'm like, no, it was probably marginally less bad than these spies that came there being killed by not making it back. On a scale of, do we want them to complete the mission? Does God want them to complete this mission he sent them on? Or, no, we got to be honest, let them get killed.
So that brings up a good question then. Is it okay to lie if it saves a life?
Well, that was their question. And I'm like, I don't know. Is it? Is it okay to lie to save somebody's feelings? A lot of Christians believe that's okay.
I no, I
Not,
wouldn't agree
not
with that.
me, not
No,
me.
I wouldn't agree with that. Not to
But I
feelings.
know people that do. I remember one of the things I laughed hardest about ever hearing Jesse Duplantis talk about was how God was working with him, and not supposed to talk about Jesse because he wanted money for an airplane, so now he's a bad guy. But
So did Creflo.
he's still my friend.
Okay.
Um, Jesse talked about God dealing with him about this. When it is okay to lie, is it okay to lie? And he went and he was out of town doing his evangelistic thing, preaching.
Hmm.
People come over for dinner. My wife's a great cook, and she made this. Oh, I made gumbo just for you. I know you're from Louisiana. You like the Cajun. I made this gumbo. Eat this gumbo. And he gave a big bowl of it and said he's eating it. And he takes a big bite of it, and he says, "This is the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life." And everybody at the table is staring at him, and they're going, "Don't you love it? Don't you think it's great?" It's like, what do you do? And I'm like, for most people, it's easy. You lie because you can
I
save that person's feelings. You don't want to make them feel bad.
I don't think I would lie. Maybe I would. I probably would. But I would be very PC when it comes to something like that. I would be like, "Man, you did a great job on this gumbo. And I'm going to eat it
I can
because I'm
taste
grateful.
I can taste the love that
I
you put
can
in
taste
here
the love that's
because
in
all
this
the other
gumbo."
stuff is awful, but the
Right.
love is great.
Yeah, yeah. I can taste the effort that you put into this gumbo, and I
And,
really appreciate it. And I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy the effort that you put in the love that you put in this gumbo. And I think there's all that, but still, that's veiling the truth. I know. I don't know. All right, I like it. I like honesty is important.
to me, honesty. I don't know if it's like in order. Loyalty is a big one.
Yeah,
But again, to me, loyalty is almost part of honesty. It's almost
yeah.
like a layer of honesty.
Right. And I would also add, I can be open, with you, but that's honesty, really,
Mm.
right? I mean, with you, I can be. This is who I am. I'm a whiskey drinking, you know,
Beard wearing fool.
beard wearing fool, and I struggle with my purpose. I struggle with my calling in life, but this is who I am, and you're okay with that, and likewise with you. You're like,
I'm relieved by it because I thought it was just me for
it's
years.
not just you.
Like, no
So
wonder
many
none of
people.
my friends want to be around me. I'm a basket case.
But and of course, as you know, that my wife is someone who doesn't have a filter, and she just boom, there it goes, and
Come
I've
now.
I've I've come to appreciate that quality in people where they're like, I don't have a filter. Here's what I'm thinking, and I'm like, wow, that's shocking, but only because that's not what most of the rest of the people do. Not because I'm shocked by your response, but because I'm surprised that because everyone else would be like, "Ooh, you did a great job on this gumbo." I do what other people do. Jeez. Anyway, is it okay to
Yeah.
save a life? Is it okay to lie to save a life? That's what I wrote down. So it's just a question.
You
But you're
know,
right.
if you're in a
Rhea,
situation where it's a choice between someone dying and you telling a lie, then yeah, tell the lie.
right. But Rehoboam, that's who we're talking about, right?
Word.
And yeah, she was greatness of numbers to Jesus himself.
Good job.
So there she was a harlot and a liar,
But
and
she's only the first prostitute in Jesus' lineage. So
the prostitute in Jesus' lineage, and then of course David, who was a liar, murderer,
Tamar.
gigolo. I mean, I don't know what else you're gonna give me. Liar. Yeah, and then so I don't. Yeah,
Tamar's a great story.
yeah.
How does Tamar escape the Bible without burning?
I don't know.
I'm going to pose as a prostitute to have sex with my father-in-law. There's no admonition against her or what she did or anything. Scot free on that.
It's gritty.
Oh, way. But I'm like,
Yeah,
what? The amount of trouble David got into and she didn't get nothing? I know it's because he was being a jerk in the first place. But
of course, it's
like
always the man.
that's
He
an
was being a jerk.
extreme strategy.
He was
I
being a
know how to
jerk.
fix this. I'll pose as a prostitute and seduce my father-in-law. That should fix everything.
Because that always helps. Yeah, we all know
Worked
that.
in the soap operas.
And now the days of our lives.
So yeah, loyalty, openness, it's all kind of the many faces of honesty.
I don't know how to classify that. Honesty is a great word, but I think that's it's a lot. It's broader than that, in my opinion.
Could be.
Openness. It's just who I am. I'm removing the mask. No COVID pun intended.
The unconditional love,
The
it's all kind of
unconditional
part of
love. Right, right. It doesn't matter what you say because
it. You're covered.
yeah, you're covered. Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna write that down.
You go ahead. Write that down. You
It
can quote
doesn't
me.
matter what you say.
And we all love to laugh.
That's something I was talking with somebody today. It's like, what do you? Because somebody had texted me about my post today about because you had mentioned about my passion, and let me tell you that was a rebellious act against the church that I attend because I know you like this. This is good soap opera
Rebellion,
stuff. Here, you
rebellion's
ready?
the same
You
as
ready?
witchcraft.
Because oh, dang you. Um, so people in my church have posted this thing about passion follows purpose, and that was the key uh, text in the post that came from a lot of people that I go to church with, and I'm like, and everybody was reposting it. The pastor talked about passion follows purpose, and I'm like, damn it, I don't, I've got a problem with purpose because I've struggled with it, and you've probably read in the post. I struggle with purpose. I struggle with calling. I struggle with all that. So does that mean that I'm hopeless with passion? I've got a hopeless, and so that was my pushback to that whole thing because it was just
Hmm.
rampant over social media. That passion, I don't think that passion follows purpose. I think that it follows effort. And so, and I forgot where I'm going with this because you said something about what did you say? I didn't write it down.
I was listening to you.
You said something about passion or something.
Oh, did I? I
I
don't know.
don't I don't know.
I think passion is such an overused thing.
It is, but it
I
is.
think passion's hype. That's what I think passion is.
You're right. It is.
The guys I follow all say passion is bullshit.
Hmm.
Discipline is what matters.
Discipline and effort, and I think that comes down
Because
with discipline as well.
you don't even for the thing you love, you don't have a passion for it every single day.
Exactly.
And if you don't have
Exactly.
discipline, you don't have a way to get through the days when passion and inspiration don't show up.
Right. Exactly. When passion and inspiration don't show up, what fills the gaps is commitment and effort. That's what fills the gaps. And I agree with you 100%. And I think that's what I was trying to get at today is that my effort and my commitment, those are the things that I find passion in.
Using passion that way to me is an excuse waiting to be made,
Yes. An
or
excuse waiting.
inspiration, or any of those things.
Right.
It's like once this thing happens, then I'll do this thing.
Then this can
And
happen.
nah, you
No.
do it or you don't.
Yeah. So I find when I spend some time in my shop downstairs and I'm cutting some wood and I'm sanding and I'm texturizing and I'm making a frame for a picture that I've got on my wall up here, which I absolutely love because it's beautiful. That's when I go, that's what I have passion for because I see it and it looks good. I like it because I made a frame for my Spitfire picture up here, and
Right.
it's I love it. It looks beautiful. I that's my time, my sweat, my effort that I put in that, my blood, sweat, and tears. And I like, that's what I have passion for. That's what I like. And yeah, and but it didn't come until after I pushed all that time and put in the effort. But is that my purpose? No, that's really kind of my hobby. I like it because it's fun. I like it because, I get to work with power tools that can cut off my finger. That's what I like. And it's not that that's going to be, now maybe someday it might be my primary income. It might be my calling. I don't know if it will be or not. Probably not.
Jesus
I don't
got
know.
by on it.
Yeah. He was a carpenter. That's good. That's good. I like that.
I like to keep it topical.
Good job.
Thanks. No, I just yeah, I think in anything, I see it. I mean, you hear a lot of it in music stuff. Is like, oh, I'm waiting for inspiration. I'm waiting for a passion for this. And
Right.
it's like, man, you gotta know your craft. Part
Right.
of it's
And see,
craft.
let me go back to something that somebody told me who may or may not be on this Zoom call.
Get that pen out of my camera, Mister.
Sorry. Let me go back because I'm making a really, really good point in my mind
Get it.
that somebody that I knew learned to play the guitar because they had passion to know a particular song. Not because necessarily they wanted to know the guitar, but they wanted to know a particular song and be able to play it, and that's how they learned the guitar. And now they are an incredibly respected musician in me and my family's life. In
So
fact, probably
is it
the
your
most
dad?
talented person. No. Somebody plays the banjo.
But even that was not about passion. That was more about fun
Right.
and surprising myself that I could do it. I think that's what you're experiencing when you look at that picture frame.
Okay. Yeah.
You're kind of like,
Surprised.
I imagined this and I thought I could do this, but I actually did this.
But doesn't that
I
create
made
passion?
that frame.
Doesn't
Well,
that
it
create a little
can, but
passion?
did the passion lead it? That's the question we're
No.
asking. Right.
Good. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay.
Can it inspire? Yeah, my learning to play guitar inspired my passion to play guitar. I never thought I could do it. That was, my mom was like, "Well, you get this book and it's got pictures of guitar chords in it, and you can sit down and teach yourself to do it." No, I can't. Nobody could ever do that in a million years. And then I started doing it. It's like when those first two chords sounded, they sounded like chords, and it was like, huh. And
But
then it
what did
was just
that what did
following.
that birth from? What did that birth from? Commitment, effort.
All of those, but
Um,
none of it was passion, none of it was confidence. It was
none of it
all
was.
like, this is never going to work.
What's the word I'm looking for? Curiosity. Did it come from curiosity a little bit to
Yeah,
see
I mean,
can
I
I do
always
this?
wanted to play guitar, kind of, because people took you and look, it's cooler. Let's just be honest. We're
Right.
being honest.
It's cool.
It's
It's
cooler.
cool to play guitar. Yeah, it is
It
cool.
is. It's cool.
Yeah.
And be whoops, sorry.
I like it. It's very sexy.
And it was part of that fantasy and everything. But it was not like, oh, this passion, I have to go learn to play guitar. I didn't, like I
Right.
said, until it actually started working, I didn't believe it was going to work even. So it was more of just giving something a try. But that's kind of part of who I am. Is like,
So, did your confidence in that you gained from learning to play the guitar, did that lead into the other things like the bass, the piano, the glockenspiel? What else do you play? I don't know. I just know bass,
especially
drums,
especially the glockenspiel.
drums. I
It
know.
kind of does, and some of that was uh, that exploration. Well, I didn't think I could play guitar either. Let me see what I can do with this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And part of it was purely because it was more practical. It's like, wow, I really want to have drums or I really want to have keyboard on this. I'm really going to have to spend some time. There was
Right.
no passion when I started like really learning keyboard. It was just like, okay, you did this before by playing songs you like, so play songs you like.
Okay.
But
So it's more out
it
of
was very
necessity.
dry, but it was yeah,
Yeah.
perfunctory. And I've learned a lot of things that way because I but that
Right.
it all goes back to that initial you thought you wouldn't be able to do this either, but then you tried it and found out you could.
Right.
So even like as recently as well, I think like when we were doing the food truck, that was kind of the
Hmm.
pep talk we would give each other every morning was like, okay, let's talk about all the things that we should have never accomplished that we accomplished. Let's talk about all the things we accomplished on our own.
Right.
Sitting with my wife and going, okay, here are the things we've done. Well, I learned to play a musical instrument. I went through college when I was 40 years old. I learned how to do this. I can't remember, but we had a whole list of things that we would kind
Right.
of like, uh, pep talk each other.
Right.
And if we did all those things by ourselves, we can do this.
Right. And so those things that you listed out gave you confidence to move forward with some new things.
Right. But again, I can't think of any moment where it was like, oh, it was passion that led me to do this. And that's what people say, follow your passion, follow your passion. I'm like, I don't have a passion.
I don't either. See, that's the problem. And
I
we talk about the passion, we talk about purpose, and it's like I struggle with that. And so when we're so flippant about a key phrase or a coin phrase as a church or a pastor would do, or anybody,
buzzwords.
buzzwords, and we throw that out on social media and we don't think about the consequences of it's based on the feedback we get instead of on how it affects other people who deal with those things and other P words, passion, purpose, calling, whatever. We don't think about that, and it
Well,
troubles me beyond all belief.
myself as well. And I can say that I think for what do you want to call it? People in the position of power.
Okay.
And not even necessarily power, but like a church pastor guy.
Influence, let's call it influence.
A pastor has a certain level of celebrity in his congregation.
Sure.
90% probably of the people are saying positive things to the pastor, which makes it really easy to fall into that kind of circular information path where everybody's constantly telling you how great you are. It
Right.
also makes incidents like Sunday where somebody goes, excuse me,
I'm not coming back, and here's why.
not so great for me personally.
Yeah.
Not working out for me. It makes it even harder for them to
But
hear
see,
that.
that goes back to the participation trophy.
Yeah.
We're not trained on how to lose.
Right. We're not trained how to hear difficult things. We're not
Right.
trained on how to
Exactly.
deal with difficult
Exactly.
circumstances,
Exactly.
which is a mess because difficult circumstances in life are almost always the things that cause us to grow and to learn and to excel. And
True. Come on, somebody.
we work so hard to avoid them.
You're
In
right.
fact, the effort we waste trying to avoid them would probably be much better spent trying to deal with them
Trying to deal with them. Agreed. 100%.
and growing with that. But nobody wants to do that.
No.
Everybody wants the easy, the comfortable, the simple.
All right. I like this. The effort we use expended on avoiding difficult situations would be better spent on dealing with it. I'm going to refine that. This is something I'm making a big note of here because this is huge.
We
I like it.
benefit. We benefit. We benefit from it.
We benefit from dealing with the situation,
All you get from avoiding difficulty is weaker.
and you don't learn anything.
No.
You stay in the same place when you don't deal with difficult situations.
Yep. Been
Otherwise,
there. Been
even
there.
even
Done a lot of
even
that.
even if because we're afraid of failure naturally because we're in the participation trophy era or what do we call generation of participation trophy. We're in this area of being afraid to fail or not being recognized that we fail, and so
Before you get to any of that, the very first thing you have to deal with is the way that we are about our comfort.
yes,
We there's little you can do that will bring such a swift and violent reaction from another human being than threaten their comfort. That's what happens to people like Gary when I say those words that they haven't heard before. It assaults their comfort. There's nowhere they can go for comfort from that. The jobs that I have lost were not about philosophy or theology. They were about comfort.
Comfort.
Somebody was comfortable, and I was saying something that made them uncomfortable.
Right.
And you go all the way back to Jesus and probably beyond that, and line up a list of people who got killed for making people uncomfortable. You know, names like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and
Yep.
Gandhi and Jesus, and that was their crime. That's what they did. They said something that made
That's
people
cross
really
grain.
uncomfortable.
Right.
Cross grain, yes, very hard, and they don't like it. People will get violent about it because you're threatening their comfort, and that's, like I said, you can threaten their property, their money. They may, but threaten their comfort. You want to see the real side? You want to see the real ugly?
Man, so I've got a saw in my shop downstairs.
Wouldn't be a shop without a saw.
No, I have lots of saws in my shop downstairs, but I've got one in particular that's a Japanese saw. I forget what kind of saw it is. I'm sorry.
Kobayashi.
No, it's Japanese. Yeah, it's a Kobe. Kobayashi. That's Star Trek. Kobe is Japanese. But it has two sides of teeth. One is for cross grain, and one is for not cross grain. One is for a regular cut. One's for cross grain. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but
It's a great start. Don't stop.
it's a great start. Okay.
Never admit that. Just keep
So
talking.
do we, and this goes back to almost contradictory to the honesty that we have. Do we tailor our responses based on how we're going to come across to somebody?
Oh yeah.
And so if we're going to go cross grain, we've got to be a little bit more careful. Those teeth are a little bit finer. If we're going to go with the grain, the teeth can be more harsh and cut right through and be a lot faster. If we're going to go cross grain, we got to be a little bit more careful and take our time to get through that.
Delicacy, time.
Delicacy. That's the word I'm looking for. Delicacy.
Andy has this theory that we've talked about some, and the idea is that our lives are like a closet full of clothes, and that we have a different outfit that we put on depending on who we're going to hang out with. Just like
uniform. I think that I got that idea from you.
Okay,
Yeah.
we've talked about. I thought we had talked about this before.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, yeah, we do. It doesn't mean that we're disingenuous. I've had that run-in with Bill over this years ago. He's like, "Oh, you're different when you're with different people." I'm like, "Yeah, they're different."
Right. They're different people.
Duh. I mean, I'm not gonna deal with you the same way I would deal with my mom or my dad or even my wife. I mean, they're my child. They're all different people. You got to have a different kind of a different way of addressing them. Beyond that, the individual person. Everybody has a different learning style and a different communication style. And the better you know people, the better you know them and their communication style. And you know how to address them with things. You know how not to address them with things. You want the best response possible. Well, if I want the best response possible from Doug, what should I do? Well, I should probably do a lot of subterfuge and take a long time to get around to what I'm talking about. And then when I finally do, I don't want to come to the point, try to beat around the bush as much as possible. No, when you talk to Doug, it's like, just say it. Just get it out and let's deal with it.
Right.
And that's, you have a wife and a dad, and, you don't communicate the same way with those two people. You just don't. It's not insincere. It's being, I don't know. But I don't think it's a temper. I think it is acknowledging that person.
You're right. And I agree with that, because the end game, even when it comes to the saw, the final result is I'm cutting this piece of wood in half, or I'm cutting through all the way through this piece of wood, whether it's cross grain or not. This is what I'm going to accomplish, and I have a tool set to accomplishment, which goes, But you're right. I go back to this because I wrote this down. You threaten my comfort, you threaten me.
Word.
And I think
put that in a fortune cookie. Put that in a church social media post.
No, that's not. I heard someone say you can't find the best version of yourself in the comfort zone.
Probably not.
And that's what I like. That's what I like about people like you and Jason and Eric. That You get us out of our comfort zone. Tell me the truth. Tell it like it is. How am I really? How am I? How do I come across? Tell me the truth so that I can go, okay, is that good or not? Let's address that. Do I change that? Do I not? Do I, what do I do with that? I have lots of questions.
That seemed like you did.
You threaten me, you threaten my comfort, you threaten me. I like that. I'm gonna keep that. This is good.
You come across as a very genuine and sincere person. That's why people are drawn to you.
And you've told me this so much in my life.
I know.
I
I
still
won't
find it
stop. It's
I
it's
still
still the
find it hard to
truth,
believe. I
whether or
still
not you
find it
believe
hard
it.
to believe. I still find it hard to believe.
Regardless or irregardless, whichever one you prefer.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're a sincere and caring person. It's not just that you're something special. It's also that the world is so devoid of that personality type that you don't just seem like you give a crap. You actually give a crap. And I know that because I know how bad you'd like to not give a crap.
Yes. Yes. You know what? There's something that I have passion for.
Not giving a
To
crap?
not give a crap.
I know. I wish I could do it too. I just have
But
never
it's
been able to learn it.
something, there's a nature inside of me that just goes, no, you have to. You have to give a crap for people. You have to give a crap for
No.
where they're going and what choices they make and so forth. So,
That's Kelly's always, oh, I love you. You don't give a crap about anybody. You tell people exactly what you think. I'm like, that's not because I don't care about people.
but that's, yeah. And I think you care about people. That's,
I
that's the
do.
thing that I know you
Deeply.
do. Yes, I know you do. And
I just have a terrible way of showing it.
but that's something that I appreciate in you. It's like, I know, Doug will say the most truthful things to me, and it will make me like shudder on the inside, but I know you care about me.
No.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I never questioned that one characteristic, that I know you love me. I know you care about me
There you
to
go.
the deepest level, that you will tell me anything. And I'm like, man, I hate to hear that. But and too often you stroke my ego and tell me things that I don't need to hear.
Stroke me, stroke me, stroke.
Stroke,
No.
stroke. Anyway, I thank you for that. I appreciate you. I
Not at
really do.
all.
I really do.